What if the strongest man in the world didn't care about strength? What if he mastered power so overwhelming they could level cities just to stay in the shadows? Cid Kagenou doesn't fight for fame. He doesn't care for justice. He doesn't even fight to protect. He fights for a delusion so insane it became real. Welcome to the world of the Eminence and Shadow, where power is a mask, and the mask is God. Cid Kagenou isn't his real name. It wasn't Minoru Kagenou either. Names are tools, faces are costumes. In truth, there is no Cid. There's only the idea of Shadow, the fantasy of being the mastermind behind everything, unseen, untouched, unstoppable. But let's rewind. Before the fantasy, there was a boy, Minoru Kagenou, a human obsessed not with power, but with the aesthetic of power. Not a hero, not a villain, a shadow. He trained not to become strong, but to be ready for the impossible, ready for nuclear apocalypse. So he learned everything. Karate, wrestling, fencing, kendo. He studied Zen, Buddhism, and even Abrahamic mysticism. Not for enlightenment, but to transcend his limits. He fought biker gangs under the alias Fancy Hoodlum Slayer. He reinforced his body beyond normal limits. And yet, he wasn't satisfied. Because no matter how strong he became, he couldn't stop a nuclear bomb. So he died. Just a normal death. Pointless, forgotten, a background character. And then, the fantasy began. Reincarnated in a world of swords and sorcery, he saw it not as a second chance, but a stage for the perfect act, to become the Eminence and Shadow. And that's where the brilliance of Cid begins. He doesn't seek the limelight, he hides in mediocrity. Mob Cid, the bland, average nobody, weak in swordplay, clumsy with magic, just another face in the crowd. But it's a mask, because beneath the facade is something horrifying. Cid's strength is unfathomable. He trains with bandits like playthings, dismantles aristocrats in seconds, spars with his prodigy sister Claire while holding back most of his strength. He weaves combat like a conversation. His swordsmanship isn't just sharp, it's refined. Every move calculated, every attack a trap. He can parry the tip of a sword with his own sword's tip. He fights not with brute force but artistry. His two primary styles? The first, elegant minimalism. Precise, quiet, deadly. The second, flamboyant, over-the-top, cinematic swordplay to look like a legend. Because remember, it's not about winning, it's about how the audience sees you. And then, there's the magic. Cid's magic is unlike anything in the world. He compresses his mana with such terrifying efficiency, it's said to be 1,000 times stronger than normal. He can suppress his presence to near zero, heal himself and others on a cellular level, manipulate his organs, withstand bullets, predict movement, and when he decides to show up, he speaks 3 words. I am atomic. It's not a spell, it's a declaration. He gathers compressed mana into a single point in his blade and releases it in a nuclear explosion of magical devastation. Not metaphorically, literally. He becomes a walking bomb, a force of nature, a fantasy turned godhood. There are variations, of course. All range atomic, atomic sword. Recovery atomic, an explosion that heals instead of kills. Atomic locust shell, a series of slashes that dismember the enemy one limb at a time. Even an almost atomic, a weaker prototype he used as practice. Each version more horrifying than the last. But Cid's true genius? He treats all of this like nothing. To him, atomic is just part of the performance. What matters more are the normie techniques. Yes, fake blood, fake deaths, Swiss cheese bullet dances, 10-minute heart-stopping fakes to convince people he's just a nobody. Because the real power is letting the world believe he's weak, while manipulating everything from the shadows. Cid's genius extends into gear too. Weapons made from slime, magic conductive to a 99% efficiency, slime swords, slime suits, slime projectiles, wires, threads, crowbars, even water shaped into weapons. He can kill with a playing card, or a pen, or a thought. And all of this is just a backdrop. Because for Cid Kagenou, power is not the goal. Recognition is not the reward. His only purpose is to live out the fantasy of being the one no one knows who controls everything. Shadow Garden? That was a joke, a made-up tale for his own amusement. But the joke became real. The enemies, the conspiracies, the ancient evils, they all aligned. Because when you believe your fantasy deeply enough, the world bends around you.